Oh, and Agnes just sent some greetings from Hungary to
Very
you.
good. Paul and Agnes, my very special friends in Hungary. Very good. And we are very different. We could say we are totally opposites. Paul and Agnes, when they go to vacation, they go to vacation a lot, like we go to vacation a lot, but they always go mountain climbing. Yes? So you see on the forum, I made, like, Paul had just a birthday last week, and I put some pictures they sent to us. Anytime they have free time, they go up on mountains in the snow, and so we always go down to the lowest level, which is basically beach level. So beach level is our level, but they go always up, yes. And like in Brazil, there's no concept of mountain climbing, yes, because why would you make your life hard? You want to have fun. But of course, what is fun is different for different people. And what is fun? What is fun?
Feel alive.
Please, tomorrow you have to answer this question. That's for certification. It's absolutely necessary. What's fun?
Yeah.
It's DV. That's why people get drunk or do a roller coaster, or they go up like Holland and Agnes on high mountain, because there's a DV. I mean, if you see this going down so much, I mean, you better hold on to this rock, yes? This is creating some DV, yes? So, they do this because they resonate to this kind of DV. We don't resonate to this. Brazilians in generally don't. They want to have the other kind of DV. Yes? But it's all about DV. It's about, there, for example, the excitement of sunset, sunrise. Why? That's why we are attracted to sunset and sunrise, because it's a DV moment between day and night. That's why we are most intuitive, inspired when we see a sunset or a sunrise, because it's a DV moment. That's why we're most intuitive when we see things either coming out of a seed or dying. Of course, death is the most inspirational moment, and it should be the source for all our inspiration. We know this will come, this moment will come. Yes, and this transition from life to death is another DV moment. It's the most profound moment of our life, and it's the most profound DV moment. It's because between here and there, between this life and the next life. And best is if you have learned to know that it's not about going back to our old life, it's going to something new. But everything in this culture wants us to stay how we are. Nobody's fault, it's just it's the matter and energy principle number one. It's the number one law of momentum. So that's why in old times they would not write any books. Not because they could not write, because they knew the moment you put something in a book, sorry to say this, but that's because it crystallizes, it becomes dogma, religion, and theory. Yes? And so they said, no, we'll never write something down. All the spiritual teachers, they would never tell people to write down, because then it becomes a dogma. And then it loses its lability. Yes? So you can see today we are on the lowest level of this lability part, because stability is so strong, and that's why I know the intervention of the forces. They try to bring more lability in our life, as little pain as possible. Yes, but the internet is a great tool. It creates a lot of lability in our thinking, in the input of knowledge. Yes, and then the possibility to move on the planet is so amazing. So it creates lability. And even energetically, electrosmog is not a mistake of nature. It's what keeps us alive. Imagine, 50 years ago, somebody invented the Lakowski multi-wave generator. He put just a big antenna there, and people were sitting in front of it, and he would just blast them with a mix of all kind of frequencies. And some people, they got happy. And some people still sell these systems now. But today we don't need it anymore because it's all here. We're bombarded with this frequency, mix of frequencies. But for what purpose? Because for most people this is an enlivening principle. And in life, it challenges our energy system. So it cannot go into its infinite loop so easily. Of course, for some people, what is good for some certain percentage can have the opposite effect. See, but this principle of DD revolutionizes every concept we have. And that's, of course, people don't want to rethink their old theories. So now, again, I'm talking about the question, how do we connect to the informational matrix? This Angelica was asking is, how does it work? How does the core system work? So, what's your knowledge about this? It works with this hologram generator. And what is this? It's a semiconductor that can emit electrons apparently randomly. And I have always my little knife. I think it's tomorrow. So this randomness, what does it mean? It means there is no stability. It is something that is like a feather that can be moved with the slightest amount of input. So what does this mean? Do we want to be feathers? Are we taught in school to be feathers? No, we should be different. We should be a rock. We should exactly be certain about our future and make certain that everything that we want is like certainly you start with your retirement plans and everything. And in fact, this is preparing for death, for the need for death, for a need for reset. And once we understand this, we are not getting so concerned anymore about the core showing us things that make us really question. Because, and I was the first one saying that all these technologies are based on a random process generator. And all those things that have been used before, if it's the I Ching or the Tarot or anything, there's a random, better the more random it is, the more unpredictable it is. So now, how is this possible? How can you justify paying this amount of money for a random generator? How is this possible? What's the point? Because I say randomness is not meaningless. The moment where it is predictable, it is based on the law of matter and energy. Matter and energy is completely predictable because they all follow one law, the law of momentum. In all its forms. All the physics is just different ways to predict transformation, and they're all under one law, the law of momentum. Momentum of energy, of movement, and so on. That's why science is so addicted to predictability and to have closed equations. Because the science is about predicting momentum, and momentum is the basic law of matter and energy. And can we predict our thoughts? Of course we can predict. If we know somebody, if we know ourselves, we can predict what we think tomorrow. Actually, they made research and had somebody write down all his thoughts he had in a day. And then they found 99% of these thoughts that were the same that they were thinking the day before. So what does it mean? We are completely predictable. when it comes even to mind activity.